Hello, today in the lesson we will solve examples in which we need to find the value of an expression. And an expression is a number to some degree. Today in the lesson we're going to solve problems in which the base of the degree is a decimal fraction. For example, we need to convert 0.2 decimals to the fifth power. We need to calculate the value of this expression. To do this, we need to multiply 0.2 decimals by 0.2 decimals, multiply it by 0.2 decimals 5 times, because the exponent of the degree is 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now we need to multiply. You can multiply in any number of ways, in the ways that are most convenient for you. In order to multiply 0.2 tenths to multiply itself 5 times, you can write this as fractional numbers. 2 tenths times 2 tenths, multiply by 2 tenths, multiply by 2 tenths, multiply by 2 tenths, multiply by 2 tenths. In this case, you can divide the numerator and denominator by 2. As a result, you will have 1/5 times 1/5 multiplied by 1/5 multiplied by 1/5 multiplied by 1/5 and multiplied by 1/5 again. To calculate the value of that expression, I recommend to work with decimals and multiply them by a column, or I can multiply 2 by 2, multiply by 2, multiply by 2, multiply by 2, and multiply by 2. And the result is 32. But I can see that it's a decimal, and then I'm going to count the number of decimal places after the dot, and the result will be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 decimal places. And then I can write down the following number: 0.32 100,000ths, and that will be the answer. Although you can perform this action by writing the decimals as an ordinary fraction, and as a result you will get the same answer. Let's multiply 2 tenths by 2 tenths, multiply by 2 tenths, and so on. 2 times 2, 4, multiply by 2, 8, multiply by 2, 16, multiply by 2, 32. Multiply 10 by 10 by 10 by 10 by 10 and multiply again by 10. The result is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I write down 5 zeros. As you can see, the answer is 32 100,000ths. But if I write that answer down as a decimal, I get 0 whole ones. 32 100,000ths. As you can see, the answer is the same. You can multiply the fractional numbers 1/5 5 times. You will get the answer as a result. Try doing, and you'll also get the answer 0.3200,000ths. But this answer can be written as a fractional number, and you convert it into decimal. Next example, we need to multiply the following number: -3/4 to the 4th power. Let's look again at the notation of the number we're multiplying to the 4th power. In this record, we need to multiply -3/4 by itself 4 times, and then -3/4 times -3/4, multiply by -3/4, and then multiply by -3/4 again. This will result in the answer below. First, let's write down the sign. We see 4 negative multipliers. You and I have talked about the fact that if the number of multipliers is an even number, the result is a positive number. Now, the answer is a positive number. Now 3 times 3, 9, multiply by 327, and multiply by 381. And now, let's write down what the denominator equals. When I multiply 4 by itself 4 times, the result will be that I get 4 times 4 times 4 is 16, multiplied by 4 is 64, and then 4 times 4 again, the result is 256. The result is a fraction wherein the numerator is 81 and in the denominator is 256. Now let's take the number minus 3/4. Let's raise to the 4th power. What do we see? This entry tells us that only the number 3 needs to be raised to the power of 4. So in order to get the correct answer, I'm rewriting the minus. In the numerator, I have to multiply 3 by 3, multiply by 3, multiply by 3 4 times. And I keep the denominator the same. I write 4. Once again, this entry tells us to only multiply 3 to the 4th power. Whereas in the previous example, the entire fraction is raised to the 4th power, in this case only the number 3. Then the result is minus 3, multiply by 3, multiply by 3, multiply by 3, and divide by 4. The result will give us minus 81/4. This fraction can be written as a mixed number. The result is minus 20 whole 1/4. As you can see with these examples, we get different values of the expression. Therefore, be extremely careful when calculating. Now let's write down and calculate the value of the following expression. 3/4 and only the denominator in the 4th degree. In this case, we rewrite the numerator. Rewrite, but the denominator will be equal to 256. As you can see, the values of these expressions are completely different. Therefore, be careful when calculating and converting the degree. In the next lesson, we will continue to solve similar examples. Today, our lesson has come to an end. Goodbye. See you again.